What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a good day so far. Hope you had a great Christmas. Hope it was a good holiday season for you. We're coming into the new year, though, and with the new year comes resolutions. Typically, people want to get in shape, want to lose weight, want to build muscle, want to look and feel their best. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Is I'm going to be giving you guys 5 things that you need. You absolutely need these things if you want to see any or have any chance at success long term, sustainably, maintainable for yourself. Because if you don't have these things, you're flying blind and you don't know what you're doing, and you're probably going to quit in February. Like over 80% of people quit in February. There's a reason for that. It's because they're doing things unsustainably. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be keeping this fitness focused, but this can apply. Well, this mainly applies to fitness goals or weight loss goals, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. As you're watching, though, feel free to give this video a like, drop a comment, say hi, let me know how your weekend went. And if you're watching this at a later time, hashtag replay so that way I know you saw it. But let's jump into this. So these are the 5 things that you need. You absolutely need these things if you want to be successful in your fitness journey or your weight loss journey long term. Because otherwise, like I said, you're flying blind and you're probably going to fail, and you're probably going to be one of the many people that quit in February, right? Because a lot of people do. Over 80% of people fail their resolution or quit trying for the resolution by February. There's a reason for that, okay? So these are the 5 things. First and foremost, number 1, set the tone and having realistic expectations. If you do not have realistic expectations, you're going to quit. You're going to get disappointed. You're going to feel like a failure, and you're not going to make it, right? You have to have a realistic goal from the beginning. Otherwise, you're striving towards something that's probably near impossible or unsustainable to maintain long term, okay? What do I mean by this? So if you want to lose weight, right? If you want to lose weight, don't say I'm going to lose like 50 pounds in January. That shit is not going to happen. I promise you that will not happen. I hope that does not happen. That is unhealthy if that happens. Don't even say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in January. Again, very likely to be unhealthy and unsustainable. Unless you are severely overweight, that should not be a thing that happens to you, okay? Realistically, weight loss, long term, like sustainable weight loss, is anywhere from half a pound, that's 0.5 pounds, to 2 pounds lost per week. That is sustainable. That is maintainable progress. That is also going to prevent you from losing a shit ton of muscle while you're in this weight loss journey, which you want to keep as much muscle as possible. You don't want to lose your muscle. Like, that's not good. That's not good for your body composition. It's not good for your metabolism long term. That's not good for your health long term. You don't want to lose a bunch of muscle unnecessarily. Set realistic expectations. Half a pound to 2 pounds lost per week, if your goal is weight loss, is realistic. If you're trying to gain weight, right? If you're trying to gain weight or gain muscle, anywhere from like half a pound to 1 pound gained per week is a good goal to strive towards. Okay, don't push it more than that. If you lose a little extra and you're doing things properly, cool. That's great. That's gravy. Let's accept the bonus that you got from it. But don't strive towards more than that, and don't be disappointed if you lose less weight than that, because half a pound to 2 pounds lost per week is perfectly healthy and sustainable weight loss. Okay, I hate seeing it every time people like are going into a fitness journey. Like, I'm gonna, yeah, like I know that they say that's what's normal, but I'm gonna push the limits and I'm going to lose way more weight than that, or I'm gonna gain way more muscle. It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're very unlikely to. You're not going to, and even if you do, you can't maintain it, and you're gonna stop and you're going to quit, and then you're going to gain it all back. So focus on sustainability from the get-go. Realistic expectations. That is first and foremost the number one thing that most people need to set in their minds before they start a fitness journey, because we see it all over the place in commercials and TV shows and shit like that. All these fad diets and bullshit. Like, and that's all it is. It's bullshit. It's they're selling you bullshit. They're selling you unsustainable methods because they want you to try it and then fail and then try it again and then fail again and just waste your money. Don't do it. Okay? That's the first thing. Realistic expectations. 2, you need to have a routine. You need to start creating a routine. If you go to and start out slow too. Start stacking your routine over time. Start out, be like, okay, like I'm gonna start trying to go to the gym at least 3 days a week, right? I'm gonna start trying to go to the gym at least 3 days a week, and then the next week, if I do all 3 days, like I'm gonna go for 4, and then if I do 4, I'm gonna go for 5, and then if I go for 5, I'm feeling good, maybe I'll do 6 or whatever it may be. Like stack over time. your routine, but have a routine. If you work out on a daily basis or 3 days a week or 5 days a week, go to the gym the same damn time every day, or try to. You try your very best. Create these routines. Create these like expectations that are carved into your day that you are going to do no matter what. Setting expectations and having those expectations is super important, and having that routine is super important. Like, start going to bed earlier, start getting up earlier, start, planning out your meals if that's what you if your goal is weight loss. Start doing these things. Build this routine and follow it on a daily basis and adhere to it. And having that routine is going to make sure that you're being consistent about this, doing it on a regular basis. Um, and once something becomes like a habit or a routine, it's way easier to get those things done on a regular basis and stick with it. Okay, so having a routine. If, like I said, if you eat at certain times of the day, do that every day. If you work out every single day, or if you work out like 3 or 4 or 5 days a week, work out at the same time every day if possible. Create that routine, instill those habits, and build that into your day, and you're going to be able to carry that out. Once it's routine, it's way more. It's way easier to stay consistent with it. Okay. Number 3, right? If you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to gain weight, whatever your goals are, especially if you're trying to lose weight or for fat loss, you need to have a nutrition plan. You need to have a nutrition plan. I'm not saying you have to plan out meticulously every single meal that you do. That's great if you do that, or if you meal prep, that's awesome too. But you need to have a nutrition plan. You need to know what the fuck you're doing with your nutrition. You need to know your calories, you need to know your macros, you need to know what those are, and you need to hit those numbers consistently over time. You need to be in a caloric deficit if your goal is weight loss. You need to know what a caloric deficit is. If you don't know what those things are, you're gonna have a really fucking hard time losing weight. Right? You're gonna have a really hard time because you are flying blind. If you're just eating whatever, or you're just eating things that people tell you to eat, and you don't track the amounts that you're eating on a regular basis, or you're not keeping track of your macros, so you don't know if you're getting enough protein in, or enough fats, or enough carbs in, guess what? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, and guess what? You're going to get the results of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. If you're being inconsistent with it and you're not tracking or you're not doing these things, at least at the beginning, guess what? You're going to get the results of somebody who is not being consistent, who does not know what they're doing, like I just said. So you need to have a nutrition plan in place. And I'm not saying you have to eat fucking chicken and rice and broccoli every single day. You do not have to do that at all, especially if you know how to flexibly diet like me and my clients know how to do. But what I'm saying is that you need to be consistent with it. You need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. You need to be prepared for it. It's that quote. If you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Okay? If you do not know what your body needs nutrition wise to reach your goals, again, you are flying blind, and it's like a map, right? So like you're at point A right now, right? And you want to get to point B. Well, guess what? If you do not have a map or a plan to get there, which would take you from here to here, right? Streamline, straight line, or at least like, okay, now we're here, right? Because life's messy sometimes. Instead of doing that, guess what? You're here and you want to get here, or vice versa, or whatever. My hands, this is like inverted on my camera. But instead of going like to get into your goal with that plan, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go fucking all over the place, not knowing where you're supposed to go, and then eventually, maybe if you get lucky, you eventually get there. But you're wasting so much time and energy trying to get to your goal because you don't have a plan. You don't know what you're doing. So having your nutrition, knowing what you're doing for your nutrition is so important. 99% of weight loss and fat loss and body recomp and all that shit that you want to achieve is through nutrition, right? It's through nutrition. That's a fact. So having your nutrition down and knowing what you're doing with that in that regard, and knowing how many calories you need, how many macros you need, what a caloric deficit is, super important. If you're not doing those things, you're not going to make it. I'm sorry. If you don't know those things, you might get lucky, but shit, you're going to hit a plateau eventually, and then you're going to be stuck, and you're going to be like, what the fuck do I do now? Right? And you may have done things incorrectly, or the hard way, or the burnout route way, and now your metabolism's kind of fucked for a while. Who knows, right? So like you got to be careful with those things. So number 4 though, right? Just like having a nutrition plan to avoid all those things that I just talked about, having a workout plan with rest days included can help with avoiding that aimless, like, you walk into a gym, especially if you've not been to the gym before, if it's been a really long time, or even when you did go in the past, like you didn't really know what you were doing. Guess what? Knowing what exercises you're supposed to do in what amounts, reps, sets, what machines hit what, like, all that good stuff. So that way when you go work out, you actually work out for your goal. You're working out and what you're doing when you're working out is actually going to help you achieve your goal instead of aimlessly just kind of doing shit just because you saw some YouTube videos or you saw a TikTok or you saw like if you don't know what you're doing in the gym, you're going to get the results of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing in the gym. So have a workout plan, right? It don't have to be anything overly complicated. You can go look some up online or learn how to do your own or make your own or whatever it may be. But having somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to a workout plan is super important too. Because like I said earlier, if you do not have a plan in place that's going to like guarantee you your results if you follow it, right? You're flying blind, right? You're just doing whatever. Or you might not even be working out or hitting the muscles that you need to be hitting or strength training in a sense because you don't feel comfortable or feel confident in doing those things. Or you don't know how to do the machines, or you don't have videos, or you don't want to mess up, or you don't want to look like you don't want to look like a goofball or whatever. Like whatever you're, you don't want to screw up, right? And so a lot of times people are just like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I also don't want to hurt myself or look like a fool. I'm just gonna, get on the treadmill because anybody can walk, right? Well, guess what? Anybody can strength train too. You just need to know what you're doing in the first place, and so you need to have a plan in place. And doing the treadmill, just going to the gym and only doing the treadmill, it's not going to get you where you want to be, right? It's not. You can't outwork a bad diet. So don't do that. You can do the treadmill if you want, but having a workout plan in place that's actually going to get you to your goals is so important. It's so important. So having a plan that's guaranteed to take you where you want to be, from where you are right now to where you want to be, is crucial. Otherwise, again, you're going to be like, this is where you want to go, right? And you're just like you don't know what you're doing, so you're just like going all over the place because you don't have a map, and then maybe you'll get lucky and you'll hit the target. But then once you hit that target, now you're like, well, fuck, like how did I do that? Right? You don't know. So don't do that to yourself. Um, so yeah, so having a workout plan, super important. Number 5, right? This one's really important, really really important, and it's something that over the years I've learned is more and more and more important, to not only my clients, to myself, to anybody who's going on a journey towards progress or success or whatever your goals are. Like having a community, right? Having accountability, super important, right? Super important. And why is that? Well, honestly, like having people there to like inspire you, having people there to like cheer you on whenever you're feeling in a low point, when you're struggling, when you're not super motivated, whenever you like, I view accountability and I view a sense of community as being almost um, like we only have so much time and energy in a day to day, and sometimes we only have so much like mental, emotional, or physical like energy or bandwidth that we can like use on our day to day. And if we're spent, right? Sometimes having a sense of community or inspiration or accountability from somebody is almost kind of like borrowing a little bit of energy from somebody else when you really need it, right? When you really need it, whenever you're struggling, it's almost like they give you a little bit of their time or their energy or their support. And in doing so, it almost gives you a little bit too to grind through or get through those low points or get through those struggle points. And that's what community offers a lot of times. Oftentimes, too, it offers a different perspective or another set of eyes on a problem, or honestly just like helping to remind you like a lot of times we only have so many things that we can keep track of in a day to day. We only have so many things that we can like do in a day without feeling spent, right? And sometimes having that group or that community or that camaraderie can provide that little extra layer or that safety net or that like a little extra like little like giving that little bit of energy to somebody to get through it themselves. Like it can it's so powerful. It's something that I never really realized because like I've never been like I've always been like a really social person growing up, but you know being when I was a stay-at-home dad, right? When I was a stay-at-home dad and we lived in a new place and I didn't have any friends around, going through the pandemic and everything like that, moving to a new place again, I don't have any friends around here. I don't have any, I don't have any of those things. It was tough, right? It was tough, and for a lot of people, it that was the same thing was going on with them in their lives and things like that. And so having a community and having that level of camaraderie or that level of inspiration or being surrounded by other people in an environment that is conducive to your goals is super important. It's super helpful. It's super powerful, and it's something that I didn't realize I needed that much until everything got shut down and we couldn't be these social creatures that humans oftentimes are. And everybody's and it also offers for those of you that are like kind of like an introvert too. Especially if it's like an online community, it's you can check in and tap into it whenever you want, and you can stay out of it and recharge whenever you need to. And so it's one of those things that's nice. It's really nice having that sense of community and that accountability to your goals. And guess what? You're going to be way less likely to quit or think that your goals are impossible or not believe in yourself when there are tons of other people who are in similar situations, or maybe it's your partner who is also a parent. Or if you're in our private community, you guys know, and you can testify to this. Like having other people in a group that are going through the same, like oh, my kid got me sick today too, or like oh, like my kid was like a struggle this morning, or they didn't go to bed last night, but hey, like I'm still getting my workout in, or hey, I'm still meal prepping, or I'm still tracking my food. Like that stuff can be powerful and it can be inspirational. It can make you and help you believe in yourself because they're doing it. They're shining their own light and showing up for themselves. It almost like gives you permission to do it too, and that it is possible. And so if when you're in a group of people, or when you're hanging out with people, or a gym partner or whoever it may be that is working towards a similar goal, oftentimes what happens is either they've raised the water line, right, and so either that person is going to keep and maintain that water line, and you're going to rise to their level, right, and they're going to bring you up, or you're going to lower down, or they're going to lower their standards down to yours. But most of the time, if somebody's in momentum, they're not lowering their standards. They're, like nobody's going to give up their fitness journey just because you are. And so if you're around other people who are in this mentality, like you're going to rise to their level, and so you're going to be more likely to adhere to your plan. You're going to be more likely to actually stick with it, stick with your resolution, and reach your goals, and break past that notorious February quitting mark, right, where people fail. So that's all I want to say here. Those are the 5 things that you guys need. So let me recap it real quick. So realistic expectations going into your journey. Don't have unrealistic expectations, because you will get disappointed and you will get in your head and you'll probably quit because you're going to feel like a failure because your goals were unrealistic from the get-go. So have realistic expectations. Number 2, have a routine. Do shit at the same time as much as possible on a day-to-day. Carve that time out. Make it a routine. Make it a habit. And once you do that, it's honestly way easier. Number 3, have a nutrition plan. Do not fly blind with your nutrition. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing, and you can't replicate it. You can't track it. You can't keep track of it. And if you don't know what you're doing in that regard, you're trying to get from A to B, but you don't have a game plan, and you're flying blind. So if you want to see success, consistent success, and break past plateaus, and know how to break past plateaus, you need to have a proper nutrition plan, and you need to know how to update that plan consistently over time. Because as you see progress, your nutritional needs change. So being aware of those things. 4, have a workout plan, and also make sure that you have rest days, right? Make sure that you have rest days. If you do not do those things, if you do not have a workout plan, like you're again flying blind, and you don't know what you're doing, or what you're doing in the gym, if it's going to get you the results that you want to get. Oftentimes I see people who are like, they want to build their glutes up, or they want to build big legs, or they want to build their arms, or tone up their arms or whatever. And guess what? They're going to the gym and they're doing like high rep, low weight with a bunch of like bicep curls, and they're doing hours on the treadmill, or they're just walking on the treadmill for a half hour. It's like that is not going to build your glutes. That is not going to build your legs. That is very unlikely to build your arms. And so knowing that what you're doing is actually going to get you the results that you want, so you're not wasting your time, and also not wasting your mental and emotional energy being disappointed by not by a lack thereof when it comes to results, is super important. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, support and accountability. Like honestly, like having a support system, whether that be through a gym partner or your spouse or a community, whatever it may be, and having accountability to be like, hey, don't forget to do this shit, because I know you got a lot of stuff going on, because you're either a parent, or you're busy, or you got a crazy hectic job, like you got all this other stuff going on. Having somebody there to kind of give their time and energy to to remind you to do the shit that you need to do can be super important. It can be super helpful. Being surrounded by other people who are in an environment of we're crushing our goals, even though that we are all busy, or we are all parents, or we all have shit going on, but I'm still doing it because I care about my goals more than that shit, and I'm not going to let that limit me. Like that could be just as powerful too. It's all super important. And these are 5 things that you need to have whenever you're coming into a fitness journey or a weight loss journey. So if you don't have these things, it's going to be a lot harder, and you may very well quit in February. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. I want you guys to reach your goals. I want you to crush your goals. So, if this is something that you're serious about, do these things for yourself. Set these expectations. Create these routines. And in doing so, you're going to see success in 2022. I have no doubts. If you don't know how to do it, though, hey, send me a message. We do all of these things with prechtelevate Performance. We do all these things in our community with our plans, with our programming. So, if it's something that you're struggling with and you don't know where to start, hey, send me a message. So, other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Let's kick 2022's ass. I have no doubts that we will. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time, guys, and I'm excited to see what we can all accomplish. So, let me know your number one takeaway. Let me know which of these things that maybe you've struggled with in the past that you need to, get on top of out of these 5 things that I just mentioned, or which ones that you're going to, start implementing immediately. But yeah, feel free to give this video a like. Like I said, helps other people see it. Don't forget, #replay if you're watching this at a later time. And other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.